Bitcoin is falling like a rock, but that's okay. College football is back. And the signs for trillions of dollars of assets flowing into Bitcoin are right in front of us. Today, we're going to talk about how capital is flowing from TradFi into digital wallets, and why Grant Cardone selling his $42 million home for Bitcoin isn't just a fad, and what link there is between front office leadership in Dallas, Texas, and people selling their Bitcoin right now. It's going to be a fun episode. This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Let's go. I'm legitimately happy today, and it's because me and most other men won't be seen by our wives until February, with college football coming back and the NFL just around the corner. And speaking of football, there's only one group of people who are dropping the bag worse than Dallas front office leadership right now. I mean, for real, Jerry? I'm just glad he's not in the NFC East anymore. But back to what I was saying. There's only one group of people dropping the bag worse than Dallas front office leadership right now, and that's people selling their Bitcoin. Y'all are gonna look back when Bitcoin is at 200K a coin and look at the chart like Mavericks fans, looking at skinny Luka dominating in the Eurobasket League right now. I mean, the thesis is still looking pretty good, guys. Y'all might be letting go of a generational asset too soon.
And, pivoting to crypto, we've been bullish on Bitcoin for a while now, is that we think that it will continue to move higher, and having cheaper money, increased money supply, institutionalization, the legislation that's passed, support from the administration, all of this should continue to be very positive for Bitcoin. And we think this rally that we've seen will continue.
I mean, guys like CZ, who have seen under the hood of the plumbing of the financial system, are saying that Bitcoin is going to become the global reserve currency.
Now we're seeing traditional finance, institutional adoption, Bitcoin ETFs, etc. And Bitcoin is becoming really the global reserve cryptocurrency. But in the future, I do believe that Bitcoin will become the global reserve currency. So so I think we've seen this evolution, and it's great to see that now both traditional financial industries and nations and countries adopting Bitcoin, plus other cryptocurrencies. So I think we've come really.
In a recent interview, Cash App's CFO said that she believes that Bitcoin can be the open protocol for the internet.
We think Bitcoin can be the open protocol that powers the internet, it can move at the speed of the internet. And we as a company can move faster. Our customers, the efficiency at which their money can move across jurisdictions is much greater when Bitcoin is powering money for the internet. So that's something that we've been, with discipline, investing behind for some years, whether that's enabling the buy-sell product, where 8 million of our accounts, our customers, have purchased or sold Bitcoin through our Cash App platform.
She just said that there's 8 million people buying and selling Bitcoin on Cash App. And that tells me that there's two things. There's more people than you think that are doing this currently. But it also means that there's significantly less people that are in on the Bitcoin opportunity. And that's an opportunity for you. We're just getting started. And it's okay if you don't see it. I hope you see it. When you do see it one day and you do become a Bitcoiner, it's going to be like guys in a park wearing Spidey suits remaking the Spidey meme in real life. And that's just talking about retail demand. We're not even talking about the corporate demand flowing into Bitcoin. We're just over 65% of the way through 2025, and the institutional demand for Bitcoin has outpaced the supply by 7x. I mean, companies bought $15 billion worth of Bitcoin in the last 2 months. The signposts are there. Asset managers like Strive are announcing that they're going to buy $700 million worth of Bitcoin, and that's just a splash in the bucket. BlackRock's COO says that the link between digital assets and TradFi is going to be the most important link in financial markets for the next 20 to 30 years.
Ultimately, how do you put these capital markets exposures in digital wallets? And how do you go? So if you think about the bridge strategy of this alternate digital asset universe and bringing it to the capital markets, I think it's naive to assume, and this doesn't have to be in a month, but if you look out over time, it's naive to assume that you don't also have to think through how do you bring the traditional capital markets to this alternative universe. And I think both connection points will define the next decade. I couldn't agree more.
And it's every company, not just the companies that are early in the game that are going to become Bitcoin treasury companies.
Actually, if you think about it, the only way for generally a company to, match Bitcoin or even potentially outperform Bitcoin is to buy Bitcoin and use the capital markets to try and increase the Bitcoin per share, operate their core business, take some of the profit, use that to buy Bitcoin, use some of the profit to expand their core business, their products, their services. So, from that point of view, I think eventually probably all companies will be Bitcoin treasury companies. Eventually.
Adam Back, a Bitcoin OG and also a Bitcoin treasury advocate now, sees the writing on the wall. This is a side note. My favorite Bitcoin treasury company right now, just because of its name, has to be the Asian cuisine company Day Cook, which now has over 1,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Why do I love them? Because I just want to be like, yo, let Day cook. Plus my name's Cook, D Cook. There might be something there, but we're not going to go into that. The signs are everywhere around us. I mean, even nature is trying to tell us that Bitcoin is the new standard. Scientists discovered an orange shark off the coast of Costa Rica. Honestly, shout out to whatever Bitcoiner did this. Hats off, amazing work. And another major signpost, Grant Cardone selling his $42 million property in Bitcoin. But before we get into that, as our next signpost, let's thank our sponsors. If you want to continue to remain wealthy, like the wealthy people in this country already, one thing that the wealthy people don't do is that they don't sell their valuable assets. They literally just borrow against them. They take lines of credit off of assets that are worth more and continue to go up in value, assets that they have custody over. Well, you can now execute this strategy like the wealthiest people in the world with Bitcoin. With a company like Ledn, you don't need to sell your Bitcoin in order to unlock liquidity from your Bitcoin. Get fiat loans by posting Bitcoin as collateral in their platform. The process is fast, simple, easy, and transparent. You can fill out a loan application in just 2 minutes and get liquidity in your account in 6 hours or less. They've issued over $9 billion worth of loans to tens of thousands of customers all across the world, and they've done so in a manner with excellent customer service support. You can see the 1,000 5-star customer reviews as a signpost for them being an excellent company to work with. We wouldn't partner with them if they weren't. Go to learn.ledn.io/simply in order to get started. There continues to be opportunities for people every episode to take a further step into their Bitcoin journey. We don't want you to just leave your Bitcoin on a platform like Coinbase. We want you to take self-custody of your Bitcoin, manage your own keys, become a sovereign individual. One of the ways you can do that is by getting confidence in doing that. And you can do that by getting a coach at thebitcoinway.com. Members of their team will walk you through step-by-step self-custody. How do you remove your Bitcoin? How do you protect your private keys? How do you share them with family members? And how do you do it privately, safely, and securely? Schedule a free 30-minute consultation with their team at thebitcoinway.com/simplybitcoin. Let's get back to the episode. Okay, the world is actually moving to a Bitcoin standard, and that's not just fluff. One signpost that I didn't really believe, everyone's been talking about the flippening of real estate for Bitcoin, didn't really spark my interest until I saw Grant Cardone selling his $42 million house in Bitcoin. And I didn't really believe it until I saw his tweet myself. And then I clicked through on the website. That's crazy seeing a Bitcoin B next to a $42 million property. The thesis for Bitcoin is pretty straightforward. In fact, it's straighter than the hairline of the assistant coach for Rutgers, who showed off this hairdo in their national opener versus Ohio the other night. He went into the barbershop and said, bowl season's coming early. Give me the bowl cut. And specifically, I wanted to look like a blend between Lloyd from Dumb and Dumbers and Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder. I'm just giving this dude a hard time, but he had to know that this was coming if he showed up on national television looking like this. Back to the story. The Bitcoin thesis is straightforward and super simple. You need to protect your hard-earned energy and time by storing it in an asset that's not going to devalue. And it's going to reward you for the hard work that you put in and day out.
Last time you were on our program, you gave this idea, and it kind of went viral on X after we spoke, but it was this idea of existing and being paid to exist through cryptocurrency. The idea that, you sitting there at work all day long, you're not necessarily being compensated for what you're doing, and you see crypto as being a solution to that. I got to be honest with you, I didn't quite get it.
Okay.
I want you to paint that picture for me and get me on board.
Yeah, well, so first of all, I think it's Bitcoin, not crypto. You know that, but just to clarify for the audience, it's Bitcoin specific.
Well, that's just your view that Bitcoin is the crypto that you're focused on.
Yeah, but I think Bitcoin is the money within the crypto sphere.
Okay.
And the point really here is this, Tim. Every single day, you make a decision on how to get compensated for your time, your energy, your effort, your labor. I'm watching you. I'm sitting in the behind the scenes. I'm watching you haul your butt. You're doing a great job on this show. You need to somehow capture the value you're creating for all of us here. And you need to somehow save that value so that tomorrow you can pay rent. You can get groceries. You can travel home and see your parents.
But that comes every 2 weeks in the form of a paycheck to me.
Right, but what the
Bloomberg sees the value in that. They hired me.
Correct. So you're going to get a paycheck in the form of dollars, but those dollars are losing value in the things that you need in your life, anywhere between 2 and 20%. Depends on what you want. You want a Caesar salad, 2%. You want a nice house, 20%. And so you need to find a way to persist and save and store that wealth. And you make a decision every single day, whether you know it or not. Unfortunately, because the dollar is being debased, everyone is a speculator here filming and watching us. And so you have to make that decision. And in my opinion, over the last 15 years, and it will continue to be so, Bitcoin is the best place to do that. Take the wealth you're creating today, bring it with you tomorrow.
Don't get caught falling down on your route when the ball comes your way.
Tight end Jamison Gears had fallen down. Tipped it into the air with his foot.
Goodness. You need to catch this opportunity. Another opportunity for you to catch is by coming down to the largest Bitcoin mining expo in the world in Dallas, Texas from November 11th through November 13th. The Mining Disrupt Conference is one that you don't want to miss. Catch a relief in your price by using the promo code SimplyBitcoin at checkout. The signs are all around us. I hope you enjoyed this episode tonight, along with some great college football and the NFL coming up here soon. Don't be the guy that's stuck on auto draft in your fantasy draft. This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Happy stacking.